Welcome, guys, to our very first episode. This is the Duo Podcast. I'm your host, Sweet Puppy Sophie.
It's your boy Heem here.
Tell them what we got today, Heem.
Alright, so we got a special episode, We have a plethora of topics to talk about. First being role models.
Speaking of role models, who do you look up to, Heem?
So, I'd say that I look up to this man named Donald Andrews, aka Paperboy, because he's just like a prominent figure in the community that I live in. How about you?
I like that. You represent where you're from.
Hello.
Someone I look up to is Lizzo, because she has a positive message about loving your body, whether it's big, small, on the plus size, on the short size. She tells you to love yourself no matter what size you are.
For Paperboy, he, like I said, he's just like a really prominent figure in the neighborhood that I live in. For the major holidays, he'd throw some type of potluck, some type of dinner. For Christmas, he has a toy drive. For when school starts up, he has a backpack giveaway. And then on Thanksgiving, he has a fat pot of gumbo. He always tries to help the community in any way he can.
I feel like that's a great way that a lot of celebrities and big time people should give back to where they started from, and a lot of them don't. So shout out to Paperboy for taking care of our communities.
Do you have anything more to say?
I think if you're going to look for a role model, definitely look for someone that you see yourself in.
Right.
Because a lot of the time it's I see myself doing this for my community. I see myself giving back to the people that gave to me when I didn't have anything. So Paperboy's a good example of that.
Yeah, he definitely is. In terms of just gratitude and appreciation, just being able to recognize that, I feel like that's very powerful, like
also,
you said.
big humble.
Very humble for sure.
A big part. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to get big, remember your roots. Because if you weren't humble in the beginning, you're definitely not going to be humble when you get that little pocket change.
Hello.
All right, so on our next topic, we are going to talk about censorship. So can you elaborate what that is, Heath?
Okay, so censorship, right. So I'm not going to read off what it means by definition, but I'll tell you what my definition is. So pretty much, if a person has an idea, has a voice, or any type of medium to express themselves or say what they have to say, and then after they will say what they want to say or express what they want to express, they get cut down, they get censored, they cannot say what they want to say anymore, right? That is what censorship is to me. I hate two things, and I mean I absolutely hate two things. One is censorship, and two is being blamed, is when both myself and others are being blamed for stuff that either I didn't do or they didn't do. Those two things grinds my gears.
That reminds me of back in elementary school when one kid would misbehave. They canceled the whole pizza party for the whole class. What did we do to deserve that? Man, I was looking forward to a movie, my little Capri Sun, and my skinny slice of pizza.
Right. I remember when I was in elementary school, one time, a kid lost their phone, right? And, I was in the nurse's office because during recess, I was just being rough. I scraped myself or something, right? And then next thing you know, the phone ended up in my desk, right? I literally was not there, so I'm not sure how I got there, but, yep, he did it, yeah.
I wonder what kid from elementary school framed him. That's the mystery.
I mean, I probably know who did it, but hey, I don't know what to say. But I feel I don't think that anybody should be censored, period, right? Because at the end of the day, some people is going to find, somebody is going to find another person's beliefs or ideals offensive, right? Period. What one person will find offensive, the other person might or might not. You never know. If you are going to censor somebody, you have to censor on both sides of the spectrum, right? So if they're for example, right, people love talking about toxic masculinity, right, and how bad it is and how harmful it is, right? But you don't ever hear anything about toxic femininity, right? And that's just as toxic, it's just as bad, it's just as harmful, but it's not talked about. misandry is cancerous, but again, it's not talked about.
Misogyny is cancerous.
We know that because everybody talks about it, but nobody talks about the other. So if you're going to say one side is bad, you have to say the other side is bad as well.
Because I believe too, there is toxic femininity.
There 100% is.
And girls make it seem that there's more toxic masculinity, but there's a bit of both.
There's a fair amount of both misogyny and misandry, period.
For example, when I was in high school, after having so many heartbreaks, I started thinking guys ain't shit.
Right.
Really.
I mean, no.
And same for guys. They can think females are not it either because of their past experiences.
That is true.
And it takes time to learn that.
How about instead of you trying to say, one gender is an ish, how about we look at your past choices, right? Let's look at the people that you have either been in a relationship, talked to, or stuff like that. What kind of people are they, right? Because at the end of the day, right, if they're people that treat you good, right, why aren't you in a relationship with them right now?
All right, let me ask you, as a man,
what's up?
Define examples of toxic femininity.
Toxic femininity, well, I feel like for one, when
I have a list. If you were to ask me what toxic masculinity is,
how about you go first? How about you go first? Yeah.
When guys think it's cool having multiple girls,
right.
that is toxic to me.
Right.
Also, when they listen to Andrew Tate, that's another toxic trait of men.
Okay. Well, I'd agree with you by saying that Andrew Tate is toxic, but at the same time, peep how they censored him, but they didn't censor anybody to such an extent. You know what?
Give me an example of a toxic female that you wish would be censored and banned, like Andrew Tate.
What is her name? Christine Rock. She is literally abusive. There's footage of her literally putting her hands on Blueface.
Oh, so Blueface's baby mama. Well, see,
I don't think do they have kids together?
I mean, that's what I heard. That's his baby mama. Everyone talks about it. You see it in memes.
No. See, I don't look too much. For me, I'm just like, it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. When I see that you treat your fellow person as like, oh yeah, I'm gonna beat on you, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna mistreat you, that's just disgusting to me, period.
And that leads into our next topic, cancel culture.
Everybody's favorite topic. Who's getting canceled today?
Well, toxic females apparently.
Well, no. I'm not trying. No. Okay. Well, let me just say, I'm not trying to say that all women are toxic. I'm not trying to say that majority are toxic. It's more of just it should just be it should just be it should be public knowledge that at the end of the day, it's not that man ain't ish or woman ain't ish. People just ain't ish. Period.
And that's where this all ties into role models and censorship because. For example, if you were to get a brand deal and you're like the top of the top celebrity, you're an A-list celebrity, right. You got to be careful what you post. You can't say certain things. You can't hate on the brand. You have to lie sometimes in order to get your bands. Mm-hmm. And that's where they censor you. You can't do whatever you want. With our free product. You have to do what we say, how we say it, and if you don't do it, then you don't get the brand deal.
Right, that's real.
Or, again, you get canceled by that brand deal.
Right, but I feel like for this, we're more of talking about cancel culture in terms of for example, there was a big YouTuber, right, who nobody listens to or watches no more because he said something offensive in 2010. Right? 10 plus years ago. For me, I feel like cancel culture is very toxic because at the end of the day, right, there is nobody who doesn't have no dirt on them. There's nobody is a saint. Pete, Mother Teresa, right? She was a holy maiden, a saint, whatever, but she did some crazy stuff on the DL.
That's the thing. A lot of people do crazy things on the DL, but there are people who you thought could be your friends that will bust you out for a $sign.
Oh, for sure, 100%, 100%. But again, coming back to cancel culture, at the end of the day, I feel like cancel culture shouldn't be a thing because as human beings, our goal shouldn't be to if you're bad, you can never be good. You're done. You can we don't want you in our society. We want you banned. All of that. No, that shouldn't be it. Like at the end of the day, if you're noticeably a problem, right? Then us as a society, we should try to help that person and try to get them the help that they need so that they can become like a better member of society and their best self. And if they keep on like messing up and just keep on doing stuff that they're not supposed to be doing, then at that point, I'd understand.
I believe people can be redeemed. I always thought that, like for me, like when I see friends, like, yeah, they made a mistake, but they could always redeem themselves.
Right.
There's never a quote unquote bad person or good person. Everybody got good and bad in them.
Right.
And just because those said actions can make them good or make them bad doesn't mean they're a good or bad person. We're a mixture of both. We got demons and we got angels.
Right. That's real. Like, so growing up, my favorite movie was Mulan, right? And and I'm not 100% sure what exactly was said, but I remember in this, I think it was the second one, Mulan and General Shang, they were getting married, and pretty much her mother and father, Mulan's mother and father, gave them their medallions, right? They're necklaces, right? And it was of yin and yang, right? And pretty much when they gave them the medallions, they were telling them that yin and yang, one can't exist without the other. They coexist. They have to be together. You know what I'm saying? You have to have one to have the other. And I feel like that is something that's really important, because there's not a person who's all good and there's not a person who's all bad. What makes up a person is the good and the bad.
I feel like society should take a look at that. We all should coexist together. No one's better than the other. No one's worse than the other. We all have our flaws, and we all have our pros and cons.
For sure. Right. And and what we forgot to talk about earlier was censorship. Some people, right, have messages that are either morally or just not good messages, and maybe some of those messages shouldn't be put out in the world, right? Because you don't want the younger generations be impacted by those messages. But other than that, right, I don't think censorship should be something that happens.
But for me, it's in a way, if there's not censorship with certain things, then everyone can think, we'll get away with everything because now there's no censor.
But I mean, I feel like it really depends on the perspective, because I feel in terms of artistry, if you're able to not be censored and and you're able to put out your full art the way you intended, then it's going to be your art is going to be in its purest form.
And that's where it comes with where people are we have this image of you. This is what we want you to be seen to everybody else. But it's everyone as an artist is magical.
100%.
Everyone has a different thing they could create, but that's what they bring to the table. Everybody's different. We all have a different dish. For example, you come into Thanksgiving, somebody's bringing the mac and cheese. Someone's making the turkey. No one really is bringing the same thing to the table. Yeah, we might agree on some things. We might have things in common.
Right.
But we're all different. And that's what makes us amazing. Because especially when it comes to music, if we had the same type of people making the same music, there would be nothing different. There would be nothing more exciting for us to look forward to.
Right.
We need differences, because if we have too much the same, it's we're robots.
Right.
We succumb to society's standards of all being the same. But I think when everyone's different, that's what makes society better.
But I wanted to brush on something that you said earlier about how some things we could agree on and some things we can't agree on. I feel for a lot of people, they don't realize that being as a friend, associate, cousin, family member, whatever, it is okay to not agree with somebody with something. I feel a lot of people, they think to themselves, if this person does not agree with me with this, I cannot be friends with them. I cannot be cool with them, and a whole bunch of extra stuff. And, at the end of the day, you can agree to disagree,
And that's where it goes back to what you said about coexisting. And that's what's hard with society, and I really wish they would see that. Not everybody's going to agree with everything. You think we agree with our parents 100%? No.
Nope.
You think they agreed with their parents 100%?
Nope.
No. But do they hate each other? it depends on every family.
Who knows?
But they still try to coexist. They still love their parents, whether they disagree or agree. And that's what we need to learn. Like,
all I want to say is, I feel like everybody should have. I feel like everybody can grow as a person, and healthy personal growth is something that everybody should at least try to do. Look inside yourself, figure out what you like doing, figure out what you like.
You know what? Adding on top of that, do what makes you happy. A lot of the time, people will tell you, I don't really like that you do that. But if it makes you happy, do it because it makes you happy. Not everyone's going to like what you do. There are people who will be liking what you do, and there are people who will be your haters. But your haters, as someone always told me, and I look forward to it, your haters are your motivators. So
looks like this is the end
of our pilot episode. Our very first episode. By the way, our duo means Dreams Under Operation.